Hello, it's me and
Noah,
and we have come back to you for another unboxing. And you know that I don't like doing mass-produced puzzles. I like to do strange and weird and bizarre puzzles. So let's see what's coming out of this without any further ado. So what do we think it is?
I do not know.
Well, I have an idea of what it is, and I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to introduce the puzzle a little bit before I bring it out. I'm just going to make sure that I can open it without causing bodily damage to me, you, or the neighbors. And aha, okay.
There we go.
Here we go. Make sure I'm on the right side. Okay. Well, that was surprisingly simple. So what's going to come out of here? Well, let me introduce what this might be. So here you see the standard Rubik's Cube, right?
Ordinary.
Ordinary, seemingly, well, as impressive as a Rubik's Cube is going to be, but it turns on the face, right? Mm-hmm. It's a cube and it's got 6 sides, basically, so we all know that. Let me put this away so it doesn't hurt anybody, least of all me. Now, if I take this and I hack it down and I cut it down to a less complex shape, I end up with a 4-sided puzzle, which is this guy here, right?
Bend the sides down.
Yeah, exactly. Bend it down. But it is basically moves just like a cube.
Is it a pyramid cube?
Yeah, well, it's what's called pyromorphics or master pyromorphics. Oh. And it shape shifts, but it's basically what you do when you take a cube and you make it into a less complex shape. Now, what I can also do is I can take this and pull it out and turn it into a 12-sided puzzle that still functions like a cube, but it becomes a more complex shape, which is this. This is what's called a rhombic dodecahedron.
There's 2 sides of each. Like
well, there's two blues.
Yellow.
I could have made them different, or they could have made them different colors, but this basically functions just like this.
Yep.
But it has 12 sides, not 12 face-turning sides, and it pretty much is just a cube.
So there's 6 colors on an ordinary cube.
Yep, 6 colors on an ordinary cube. 4 colors on this one, and well, there could have been 12 colors on this one. Now, what if I did that same concept? This is a face-turning dodecahedron, right? Which means it's just like a Rubik's Cube. It turns on all the face. Now, what if I took this and I hacked it down to a less complex shape, just like I did with this? I'd end up with, instead of dodecahedron, a
cube form.
A cube form, which is this. This is called the hexaminx, and I love this puzzle. This basically moves just like a dodecahedron, but it is in a cube-type form. And you can tell it functions very different from this.
It's like the 3x3 evolving.
Right.
Evolutions.
Yeah.
The 3x3.
Absolutely. Now we're doing a 12-sided. This is actually a 12-sided puzzle, but the sides are hidden amidst 6 sides. Oh. Now, because this is a more complex shape, and I did hack it down to a cube, couldn't I hack this down even further to another pyramid? And the answer is yes. I can hack it down to another 4-sided puzzle, and that's this. Wow. This is what's called the RL minx, and this is actually another dodecahedron in disguise. This is this face over here. I can move it here, solved pretty much the same way, but you can see that I can keep hacking it down from here to here to here. With the cube, I can only hack it down to here.
What does RL stand for?
Rouleau, maybe? It's just kind of the way it's shaped. But you can see that these two don't function the same. This functions as a cube, even though it looks like a pyramid.
Yep.
Ta-da! And this functions as a dodecahedron, even though it looks like a pyramid. Ta-da! And this functions as a face-turning cube. And this one works as a dodecahedron, even though it looks like a cube. So, because I have these 3 over here, just like I can build this up to a more complex shape, can I, in addition to hacking this down to less complex shapes, can I build it up to a more complex shape from here?
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Just like this is a rhombic dodecahedron, can I have something similar? And that's where this is going to come in. As I explore that aspect, whoa, very cool.
Wow.
This is from Quirky Cubes, I think. And this has been built up. This is wrapped really nicely. Yep. This is actually a dodecahedron, or a megaminx. I'm going to very carefully, and with the utmost lack of skill. Wow. Okay, so let's behold this puzzle. This puzzle is actually the same as this. But how many sides does this have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, well, so basically what this is this is built up a little bit more to where this is actually a megaminx. But this is also a rhombic dodecahedron, just like this. It's kind of a curvy rhombic dodecahedron, but see how it has this sort of rhomboid shape here?
Yep.
This one has the same thing, but it's a megamix. So this is to this, is this is to this. So let's see how this beast moves. Let's see. Okay, very nice. This is three-dimensionally printed.
Oh, cool.
So this is an example of a side. Now notice, it's face turning. This is the face. It has this color and then maintains colors over here.
Yep.
This face kind of drags some other colors with it. So if I turn it over here, well, I'm dragging some of these colors with it over here. So this is a shape modification. And because it's a shape modification to a more complex shape, it can shapeshift, just like this.
Oh, I like shape-shifting games,
Yeah.
even though I find them weird, difficult.
Difficult, yes.
But I just like watching you solve them, like shape-shifting.
Yes.
It looks really
It looks cool, right?
Shifting.
Especially when I start throwing things when things aren't going so good with I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
So basically, hammering it, taking a screwdriver to right. So basically, it's probably solved the same way. But notice that this side over here, I'm just kind of looking at the detail. It's three-dimensionally printed, I think. Actually, I'm not so sure. I guess it is, but it's very well polished.
Yeah.
Very well done. It almost looks like it's been molded with plaster or something. But anyway, it looks like a very stable puzzle. It's going to look incredible when it is scrambled. So the number of sides are still the same. It's kind of it's kind of a quirky thing.
Are those stickers or
These-
three-dimensional?
Oh no, these are stickers. Yeah, it's not dyed that color. So, wow. All right. Well, there you have it. So this is a Megaminx version of this, a rhombic dodecahedron, more specifically a curvy rhombic dodecahedron. And let's do a few more movements here that kind of shows how shape-shifting this can be. Once you defined, like with any modification, shape mod, once you defined what pieces go where, what are your edges, what are your corners, what are your centers, then you can do it. There you have it. Thanks for watching. Hello, me again, and I apologize for the quality of this, but I have this delivered at a slightly different place. In any case, this is actually from a viewer. It's a puzzle that he had designed, and I'll tell you what the name of the puzzle is as I'm unboxing it over here. This is called the 5x6x7 Floppy iCube Extreme. What this is this is actually another iCube, but it's made into the I format in two different layers to make it look like a 5x6x7. Was having a hard time solving it, and he had actually asked if I could take the puzzle and solve it for him. So as you can see, it's coming out of the box in a scrambled form. So my challenge is to see if I can first off solve this and then go through a solve of this puzzle. Now at this point, I don't know if I'm able to do that or not, but in any case, there it is. Here it's kind of in the scrambled form, but the 5x6x7 Floppy iCube Extreme. And when solving it, if I can, I'll kind of go through a little bit more characteristics of it. Okay, so I'm back now, and as you can see, it's been solved. So just to show a little bit more of the structure of this puzzle, this is 5x6x7, but it's not a 5x6x7 as you would expect a cuboid. It's actually a 5x6x7 iCube, which means that it's sliced off a portion of the top. You can see that this is made by a 7x7, and right at the top here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is actually 3 layers that are put together, sliced down over here, so that when you move it like so, you can see that it has that iCube type structure to it. But it's not just sliced in this direction, it's actually sliced in this direction too. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So you've got 2 layers combined here, you've got 1 layer combined over here. So you can see that this here doesn't quite match up. So this is another iCube layer as well. The only 2 layers that are proportional or the same are these two, the yellow and the whites. Everything else has like an iCube type motif. So at first, when solving this puzzle, it seemed like, well, I'll just do like a complicated version of the 4x4x5 iCube or the 3x3x5 iCube, which is actually looks more like a 3x3x4. but I found very quickly that it got a little more complicated than that. And the guy who made the puzzle, who had it sent to me, although I was trying to give some guidance regarding some of the strategy, was trying to tell me that it simply wouldn't work. I was telling him to just do it like a cuboid. But the bandaging makes that almost impossible. So I was finding variable success with this. And I have to say, kudos to the builder, because this is probably one of the hardest puzzles that I've solved. Certainly the hardest I-cube puzzle, because it has all of the trappings of bandaging. So here's my challenge. Now, I know that this isn't mass-produced, and some of you guys who are good with Dremels and epoxies can maybe do this, but the 5x6x7, if not mass-produced, probably should be, because it is a challenging one. It says challenging is, say, just in this 2x2x2 pocket cube or the wall cube. It has the same kind of a characteristic with it, because by slicing it off on two ends and making two ends an I-cube, it actually changes the structure of the puzzle. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through a solve of this at some point later, but I want you to think about how it is that you would solve this. Now, normally I would issue a challenge for it, but knowing that this puzzle is kind of difficult to make potentially, what I'll tell you is that I had to solve it instead of like a cuboid. I had to use a slightly different strategy, because when you think about it, what this puzzle, and just to give kudos, the turning is actually very smooth, and really had a good time moving this puzzle around. It took me a little bit of time figuring it out, because it was a little more difficult than I thought it might be. But the way that I had to solve this is, rather than solve it like a cuboid, and even rather than solve it like an I-cube, what I actually had to do was look at it and say, okay, although it looks like it's a 5x6x7, it really isn't. It's truly a 5x5, 7x7x7. But I decided to look at it exactly like a camouflage cube. And I figured if I could solve it like a camouflage cube, where I just did it in sections, then I would use it as a quasi AI solve. So I started to use that strategy. So the hint that I'm going to give before embarking on the scramble and solution with this is that I started off looking at this as a 7x7x7 camouflage cube. So it's actually, I guess, a 5x6x7 camouflage cube. And once I did that, I was able to get it closer to the solution. One of the big problems was getting all of these edges where they should be. When I was trying to solve it like an I-cube, there were certain edges that I just couldn't swap because the bandaging was too severe. But if I looked at it like a camouflage cube and solved it section by section, I was able to do that. But that still left open the fact that some of these middle pieces couldn't be easily exchanged, and that got me stuck too until I kind of figured a way to finagle my way through that. So just wanted to roll this out, say that it is possible to solve this, and the overall strategy was to look at it like a camouflage cube, not like a cuboid and not like an I-cube, and then solve it like that with a couple of twists with the strategy. So the scramble and solution with this is coming later. Thanks for watching.